Hello,
Continue.
everybody. I am here today with an amazing woman that want you to meet, whose name happens to be Shaina.
Hello.
Thank you, Shaina, so much for speaking with me today.
Of course. B'simcha.
So, we're just gonna spend a few minutes sharing together about Shaina's experience working with me so that hopefully anybody watching can really be inspired because Shayna's story is truly an inspiring story. She inspires me, and I know she will inspire and does inspire many other people.
Hmm.
So, Shayna, can you just tell us a little bit about um, what it was that you were seeking when you came to me before we started working together and sort of what was going on in your life in terms of the goals that you were wanting to achieve.
Right. So I've always been into like healthy eating and stuff like that, but there was always like I would go on these like crash diets and then like eat well and then go back. Like it wasn't consistent. And I think that what happened was I started to get like really not like really bad stomach problems and like no energy, and I was like really low in energy. And then like I knew that like when I came to you, I'm like, I really need to make some like positive changes in my life, and I can't go back and forth like a yo-yo, because these problems that they were getting worse and worse, and I was, in a lot of pain, a lot of bloatiness. And I realized that I needed to, not be like regimented, but like actually find a way that I could eat like joyously and enjoy what I'm eating, and also take out the things that were no longer serving purpose in my life. That goes to say that it was more like a spiritual change, a physical change, and an emotional change, everything merging together as one. And there's just like a lot of things that it a lot of things that like it intakes, like it was, yeah.
Okay, thank
So
you.
yeah.
Um, so I would love it if you could share just a little bit about how your life has changed from
Mhm.
this time that we've worked together, and I'll just add so that people are a little filled in, like obviously not to share
Right,
anything personal
right,
beyond your level of comfort, but
right.
weight loss was a goal. I'm sure that's you don't mind saying
For
that.
sure, 100%, a
And
100%. That was a goal, but there's just so much more that goes in it than just like following a diet and just like doing things because like someone tells you to do them. It's on a spiritual, emotional level. I mean, I was seeing patterns in my life, like being in situations where they were unhealthy for me, and then like I would do the same thing with my eating, and like on Shabbat, like I would eat things and just eat with no intention and like be like, I'm so bloated, I don't feel well. Like it was just everything was like there was a pattern. And once I made a shift in the pattern, it was like people were looking at me differently. Like, they would say, like, wow, you look different. Oh my God, you've changed, you've shifted. But it wasn't like they could tell that I lost weight, but they looked at my face and they were like, you've changed, because I've done the changes that I've made are now lifelong. They're not like something that I'm going to go back to after. You know, if you're around people that are not like building you up, then you're not living your fullest potential. If you're eating things that are not good for you, you're not. It's all connected, and people think everything's separate. Oh, I go on a diet for this amount of time, I lose this amount of weight, and then what do? You go back to your old ways. You've got to change your mindset. You've got to be in the moment and live every moment with intention and know what works for you. Now, I don't like Shayna, I don't even crave sugar anymore because I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't crave it. The craving has gone away. I love getting up in the morning, having a smoothie, and not having sugar in my coffee. I've completely taken out coffee completely, and I don't even crave that. that's another thing that was like, you know, I'm a very high energy person. So having coffee for me was like not the best thing because it even gave me more energy, you know? And I just made these small changes in my life, but it's more like being in tune to what your body needs in every single second. And that's what Shaina, thank God, has showed me. And it's something that I can take in my life for the rest of my life. And you know, and I remember, Shaina, the first thing you said to me when I walked in your office, and I'll never forget these words, was, I don't want you to like have to think that you're going to rely on me for everything and be codependent on me. I want to show you how to do it yourself. And thank God now I'm at a place where she has given me the tools, and I know she's always there. And I know I can always come to Shaina anytime I want, but I have the foundation. So when we build a strong foundation for ourselves, then like no matter where we are in life, we can really be in tune, you know? Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm getting the chills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the reason why I wanted to just bring up for anyone watching this, that on one hand, one of your goals was weight loss, but what my intention that I really hope, if anyone takes anything away from this interview, and I hope they take many things away, is that weight loss or any kind of healing of any physical symptom, it's just so not about the physical symptom. Or another way to say it could be something I say is like the physical symptom, like the weight or whatever it is with stomach pains or any other health issue, that's like the easy part in my opinion. Frequently
Yeah.
the real work is in getting to the root issues, which there are physical root issues, but if we don't get to the emotional and spiritual root issues, then the healing, like you said, is temporary at best, you know, or not even. And so my approach, really, that's my approach, is that we get to these deeper issues. And of course we give the physical support, and we did that throughout.
Right.
But yeah, I was just amazed at how much you took things in, and you were just so ready, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to emphasize to anyone who's watching this, if you're ever going to anybody for healing, like you said, you should look for a healer that wants to empower you to live empowered and not be reliant. So that's the first thing.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I also just want to say that, like, you know, like I said, I've done a lot of diets, I've done a lot of things, but like nothing ever really like stood with me. And it was because, like you're saying, of this like inner place where I was just like not healing the inner parts. And I've done a lot of years of therapy and a lot of years of like going to therapy and stuff like that. But this just hit home because, like, also Shaina was always able to give me the space that I needed in order to be me. She wasn't trampling on me like a lot of like some therapists that you go to, like everyone has different approaches. You know, Shaina has like the approach of like letting you, give you space to be you and coming into yourself. And I think that's important as a healer, to really be able to listen to your client and give them the space that they need in order to be healed, instead of you telling them what they need. You know, it's a whole other dynamic.
Yeah. Thank you for saying, I mean, I totally agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
So that's important. And thank you. So the second thing I was going to say is to be, well, it's obviously takes two to tango, right? So a lot of people are looking for a healer, a therapist, whatever it is, nutritionist. They want the healer to heal them, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
yes.
that is, and you know, that's okay, because you're going to find people out there, healers, who are like at that vibration, and they're going to fill that role for you. But at the end of the day, we all have to get to a point where we realize we understand and we're ready to embark on a different type of a journey where we learn how to heal ourselves. And it's in the readiness, really, like, which just goes back to what we already said about empowerment. Like, somebody who doesn't want to take that on is not going to do well with a approach that's based on learning how to come fully into one's power. Um,
100%.
yeah, so I think that I want to bring that up because it's super helpful. It's a super important question for each and every one of us to think about. Anytime we have a goal, it's like, am I really ready to do what it takes? You know, yes, maybe if I feel I need a guide, I've had many guides in my life, and that can be that can be really like a divine thing that comes, that we need people. But am I ready to do it, or do I think the other person's going to do it for me? And
Mm-hmm.
you, when you came, it was like you were just so in that place of being like so ripe, so ready, that it was so quick. Like,
Yeah.
it was like you took off, and it was just like, obviously part of that taking off is learning how to ride the waves. Like, there's ups and
Yeah.
downs, right? But you were
Yeah.
ready. So that is another point that I just really want to praise you for. And you're seeing how you're continuing, like, in your life, to just
Yeah.
go more and more, higher and higher. Yeah, I mean, I guess another question I wanted to ask you is, when someone embarks on a healing journey, an empowerment journey,
Mm-hmm.
what I've seen time and time again is that not only do they accomplish their goal, but like so much more. Like, you know, what they learn, the tools that they learn helps them in
Mm-hmm.
so many all areas of their life. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering if you could share a little bit of just like how, besides for your health, your weight loss, you know, your
Yeah.
vibrancy, yeah, are there other areas where you've seen your life change?
I think it started again. I'm going to repeat how you gave me space to be me, because for a long time I was like being like, I was being like guided by people and them telling me what I should be. But when you let a person, you allow a person to like be who they are and give them the space, then there's space to be you. So like I started to discover that I love like biking. I started to get a bike, and you know, being outside and being in the nature, it opens up your mind, it opens up your heart. You can breathe, you know, like being able to have like certain boundaries with people, certain boundaries with food, certain like healthy boundaries, you know. You know, I started to sit down and write a lot. I never did that before because you gave me the space. And then, I mean, naturally, I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm a very like inspirational type. I love to like inspire people, and you know, write and write, and I have a bunch of groups and all this stuff like that. But this gave me the space to come more into Shaina, like all these, just these little things. It wasn't something that was like so extravagant. It was just doing these little things daily, that I knew I need to go to the park. I knew I needed to write a little bit in my journal. I knew I needed to like, there's certain things I need to get up and daven, you know, like all these things were like becoming more of like, you know, even my mindset, I remember like, it was more like, like before it was like, I need to do these things. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And working with you, it's like, it was more like with love. It was more like with like, it was more like a soft approach. Like, you know, we were just talking about it, you know, like I was on a detox, and you know, I didn't want to add something, but I knew that my body needed it. So I really listened to what my body needed. And I said, no, Shaina, you were right. I needed to add these, you know, these certain things into my detox. Even though I'm detoxing, like I'll add these certain things inside to give me more energy, you know. And it wasn't like before I'd be like, oh, I failed. You know, 48, like it's all in the mindset, you know, it's all in the mindset and how you talk to yourself. A lot of like, I speak to a lot of women these days, and they don't have so much self-love, you know. And I mean, it's a progress. It's a daily progress, you know, always. But I was one of those people. And like every time I catch myself doing that, it's just like, no, Shaina, you're living a different type of life now. It's about what your body needs and being in tune. You know, when we're not in tune, we become destructive. So I think
Yeah.
that's like in a nutshell, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I just love seeing how much you love like everything you're doing for yourself,
Yeah.
and juxtaposed to that, I see people who it's like you're saying about the mindset, who come and they there's a lot of resistance, there's a lot of
Yeah.
resistance to the choices that are going to bring them into alignment with their power, their joy, everything, right? But
Yeah.
but for different reasons, I've been through it. Like we resist it, and
Yeah.
then until we learn how to make these inner shifts, release these blocks, and really, when we come into that alignment after we release the blocks,
Right.
we love living in alignment. I'm not going to say there's no resistance anymore, but I'll say there's new resistance to new things. We're not
Yeah.
in the same pattern over and over again.
Right.
We're
Right.
ready for the next lesson that we need to learn to grow
Right.
more.
Right. You know, I just want to add something like when we don't build a solid foundation, we're always going to collapse. But Shayna allowed me to like build a solid foundation that like now I can build on it, you know, instead of it collapsing. I never had that. So now it's just kind of like it's that I feel very confident in myself that like I have this foundation.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. I know, like, it's just been so amazing to watch your journey, your process. Yeah, a tremendous like privilege to just thank you for allowing me to
Thank
be
you.
part of your journey.
Thank
I
you.
guess just one more question before we
Yeah.
end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wondered if you could say something regarding like talking to somebody who's watching this, who like might be thinking that this seems interesting, but they're feeling hesitant. Maybe they don't feel like they can spend the money, like if they don't want to spend it, because we
Mm-hmm.
all tend
Mm-hmm.
to get
Mm-hmm.
into that
Mm-hmm.
place.
Yeah.
But they just are like on the edge, but something inside of
Right.
them is saying, this sounds to me like this could really be a game changer, but
Right.
what would you say to somebody to help them get clarity, one way or the
Right.
other?
Um, First thing I would say to them is don't live out of fear, because when you live out of fear, you don't grow. So when your intuition is telling you something, even if you're on the fence and you feel like a good feeling about it, but you're like, don't let the fear get in the way. Just like, you know, go in. It's kind of like everything in life. Just go in with curiosity, go in with an open mind, go in with an open heart. Just be like, you know, this sounds great. Let me try it out. Be like curious. Just go in it curious. It's not like it could work, it couldn't work, you know, but like for me, like I came in it like, okay, I wanted to make the changes. I was already doing the work on myself, but like a lot of people live now, especially with all these things that are going on in the world. We're all living in a place of fear, and we need to like step back into that place of love, you know, and use the fear in a good way with awe, you know, like awe instead of being like, oh, I'm scared, like let me run away from life, but like more like no, like approach it with love, approach it in a positive way, and don't sit on the sidelines, because if you sit on the sidelines, you're never going to grow. Sometimes you really need to just jump in, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I believe.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Of course.
for,
Thank you for all your assistance and help, and yeah, it's been amazing. It's a journey.
yes, I'm excited to watch as your journey continues to unfold. And yeah, I want to just thank you for taking the time to speak
Yes.
with me here for this. And if anybody wants to find out more information you can go to innerwellsprings with an S at the end.com, innerwellsprings.com. And there you can join my group. You can set up a complimentary call to speak to me. And well, I just want to bless everybody to have a beautiful day and to really open our hearts, our minds, our souls to what's in front of us and to the tremendous opportunity that the things that may feel difficult, the things that we need to heal, like the open to the tremendous opportunity that those things are for us. So thank you again, Shaina.
Thank
So much
you.
to you. And that's it for now. Bye.